Good evening, it's 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday, June 26th. I'll call to order this regular meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls City School District Board of Education. Ms. Stoykoy, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Coco?
Here.
Mr. Gomez?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Here.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Here.
Ms. White?
Here.
Thank you. Item B is approve of the agenda. Number 1 is a motion to approve the agenda. It's recommended the Board of Education approves the agenda of the June 26, 2024 Board of Education meeting. Action by the Board of Education and adoption of a consent agenda means that all items are adopted by one singular motion unless a member of the Board of Education, treasurer, or superintendent requests that any such item be removed from the consent agenda and voted upon separately.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Coco?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Before we go any further, I just wanted to take a moment. We lost a member of our Black Tiger family, Mr. Sean Flaherty. He's a much beloved English teacher here at the high school, former coach in our district, and a coach at the time of his death in the district next to us in Stone Monroe Falls High School. We want to take a moment as a Board of Education to recognize him at our meeting tonight and just to take a brief moment of silence in recognition of him. Thank you. Item C is our opening ceremony. Number 1 is our informational items. This meeting is a meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business. It is not a public community meeting, although there are opportunities for public participation. If an individual wishes to address the board regarding a topic found on the meeting agenda, the individual must complete a registration form found inside the attendance notebook and present it to the treasurer. Following the introduction of the topic by the board president, followed by board discussion, the individual will be recognized. If an individual wishes to address the board regarding a topic not found on the meeting agenda, they must notify the superintendent and/or board president of the topic no later than 3 business days in advance of the meeting. These individuals may share their comments during the board business portion of the agenda. In both cases, the individual will preface comments by announcement of their name and address and limit comments to 3 minutes. All statements should be directed to the board president. No person may address or question board members individually. In addition, in public session, the board will not hear complaints about school personnel nor against any person connected with the school system. An unabridged board agenda for this meeting can be found on your electronic device. The address shown on the screen, and for your convenience, hard copies of the board agenda may be found on the table by the sign-in book. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education is July 10th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. in the Cuyahoga Falls High School Library. There's a special meeting of the Board of Education on Wednesday, July 24th at 5:30 p.m. here in the Cuyahoga Falls High School Library. Now for our pledge and welcome, Ms. Stoykoy.
Yeah. Please stand if you're able. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. Our vision, Cuyahoga Falls City Schools, the hub of our community, committed to a culture of caring. We innovate, we create, we personalize education for all. Our mission, every student, every day, every opportunity. The board's strategic plan goals are as follows. School safety. We aspire to have a welcoming environment that ensures that the physical and social well-being needs of every student and staff member are met. Academic growth. We aspire to have significant growth through personalized education for all students. We aspire to improve graduation rates so that our students are prepared for employment, enrollment, or enlistment. Engagement, inclusion, and diversity. We will ensure that every student has access to resources they need when they need it in order to be successful. Excuse me, and technology and systems integration. We aspire to create safe, secure, and efficient technology systems to support high-quality teaching, learning, and district operations.
Thank you. Now back to you for item D, Treasurer CFO's business consent agenda.
Thank you. I'd like to recommend that the Board of Education approve all items listed in the treasurer's consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, Ms. Stoikoi?
We got a couple of the last minutes, from the last two meetings. Some final things that we do every year of this meeting to wrap up the year. Final appropriations for the year. Temporary appropriations to get us started for next year. And then, our advances and transfers, excuse me, can't talk. A little note on those are just, some of our grant funds that we're required to expend the money before we're reimbursed, for those items, and so since they can't be in the red, the general fund has to advance those at the end of the year. Come July 1st, we will send that money back to the general fund, and eventually receive those, reimbursements from the, Department of Education. ESSER, this will be the last time you see ESSER on here. That wraps up here this fall. The only outstanding things we have left that we're spending is, if you recall, the remainder of the Wit and Wisdom purchase that wasn't subsidized. And then over the summer here, a few more salaries of our literacy specialists and social workers that we still have left. And then that will be complete. You also see the stale dated checks, unclaimed funds. I sent you the list of those. Those are, have been out there for over 5 years, so, they are now, per board policy, they go back to the general fund. And then lastly, donations. We just have the, Ben Curtis family, and then some books for the media centers at a few of the elementaries. That is all.
Any questions or comments from the board? I think I asked all of mine already. Thank you, Ms. Stoikoi. Appreciate it. Okay, please call the roll.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Ms. Coco?
Aye.
Thank you. Item E, Treasurer CFO's business, Ms. Stoikoi.
Thank you. I'd like to recommend the Board of Education approve the May 2024 investment schedule and monthly spending report.
So moved. Second.
Ms. Stoikoi.
Yes, we'll just take a quick look here. We'll start with interest. Give an idea there. Another good month, not as quite as good as April, but it was still a good month. A little under $600,000 total, which brings us to almost $4 million in all funds. Keep in mind, that's all funds, so a lot of that is construction and can only be used for that purpose. But still, that's great. We look to have similar kind of numbers, maybe a little bit less in June, just because cash balances are always down a little bit now. Revenues aren't coming in the month of June. So all in all, it was a good year. Unfortunately, we're not going to see this kind of numbers. We're spending down our construction funds. Our cash balance is lessening in the general fund a little bit. So this will probably be the last year you see numbers like this in total in a long time. And then general fund. So we ended about at almost 18 million. Cash, I can tell you after doing these final numbers, we're pretty much almost spot on to what the forecast had said, what we'll end with. So there's not, I don't remember what the exact forecast number was, but I remember looking at it today thinking, that's not too, that looks familiar. So we're done with any expenditures or POs and everything. So other than perhaps some revenue that may come in, which is not going to be anything major, that will be it. So our predictions in May of the forecast are pretty almost dead on to what we're going to end with. And then we'll see those at the July meeting. That's all I have.
Any
Does anybody have anything?
questions or comments? You know, we
think
close,
so.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I appreciate your accuracy in your forecast. Yeah. Good or bad.
I always like to see these, when we approve them in July, cause then you get the whole year,
Yeah,
and
whole
like, you
picture.
get the
Yeah.
holistic
Yeah, I know.
view. So I know we close the books at this meeting, but like,
Yeah.
the July meeting, I always appreciate, cause then you get the holistic
Yeah.
view, and you can
Yeah.
kinda see the
Yep.
trends and all
Yep.
that, so. And then we set the budget for the year too, so
Yes.
those two things combined, like setting the new budget and then the,
Yep.
what we spent for the whole year and seeing how that all balanced
Mhm.
out, so. But I appreciate your work, I know it's a busy month for everyone in your office,
It is.
so send them our appreciation.
I will.
Nothing further, then please call the roll.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Ms. Coco?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye. And then any further comments?
Not really, just we're gonna be closing year end, we'll have all the stuff for the July meeting. I was fortunate that I was able to take vacation last week, so, it was nice, and then coming back, maybe not as nice, but at this time of the year for me. But, we made it through, so I feel good now going forward, and, everyone in my office has done a great job this year, and especially in the month of June when it gets a little crazy, they're kinda just, can be all over the place, so, they've done an excellent job helping me stay in line and helping the whole office get, you know, where we need to get by the end of the year here at June 30th, so I appreciate them a lot.
Thank you. Item F is Superintendent CEO's Business Consent Agenda, Dr. Salka.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. It's recommended that the Board of Education approve all items listed in the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Salka.
All right, lots of things here, so I'm gonna try to go in no particular order until the end. So some routine items, as it relates to personnel. So we have home instructors, our summer help, and summer, workers. We have coaches, asking for your approval this evening, writing, and in vision and AP, professional development and training. So again, continuing on with our work with the writing program and Envision. We have our Rethink SEL site license, so we can get access to that portal. You're familiar with Rethink, our SEL curriculum. Our Panorama survey that we give to our students, so we're looking to renew that. We also have the Utica insurance. That is going to be a savings. We're moving away from Liberty, which we have had for a number of years, but we will be saving quite a bit. It was substantial enough to make the change. So we are recommending that we move away with, of course, the same benefits and not compromising what we will be getting for that cost. We also have the ProQuest, which is changing the library database, and that's gonna be a little bit of some savings there for us. We also have a number of special education related items regarding ESY, which is extended school year speech, OT, some of it's for the summer as well as next year, and then some are for specific children, and while others are just in general terms spelled out in what we will be paying for those different facilities. And then we have the digital scoreboard. I know there was some conversation about that, and I was able to get a little bit more information, not much. It's summer, it's hard to get a hold of folks. The one piece of information I think I was lacking in what I've given to the board is what other schools have generated, and there was one district, I don't know, I won't say their names, in case I shouldn't, but they were able to obtain $150,000 for their gym ads in one year, and then they had some sponsorships that varied between $7,500 and $25,000 a year, to just give you some idea. And clearly, we've been taking in donations as it is, our sponsors or for ads in our gymnasium, but we'll have far more access with the digital and more opportunities for folks. So we do believe we will recoup that money pretty quickly. So, and I don't know if Ms. Stoikoi, if she want to share with them the other piece.
Yeah, so that'll all be paid from our LFI funds. Actually, the stadium, the GMP that not really a GMP, but they use the same format because it doesn't have to go through OFCC, so it's not a formal one like that, but they use the same kind of thing. Came in under, back when we did it, of what we had budgeted over there in the initial budgets. And I talked to Mr. Gomez yesterday, about kind of where we're at with like that LFI. I meet with Hammond tomorrow for our monthly finance meeting, so I'm gonna send something out just to give you guys the recap. They'll have updated kind of numbers and show me, and when she sends that to me, I'll get that out to you. But the LFI side of things looks good. There is plenty of money to cover that, even without any kind of reimbursement or anything like that. So, and then going forward, we just talked about, you know, where those funds would go. There's a number of different ways you can do it. I think there's obviously probably gonna be some upkeep or software that's associated on an annual basis. And those are just things like, you know, where are we expensing that? So, because then that revenue should pay for that. So it'd just be where the expense is, that's where the revenue would go, and then working out the rest with, you know, what does athletics get versus any other items that may be needed for that, or, you know, that are a yearly cost for that.
And the other idea being, so with our most recent renewal of the emergency levy, we took some of those funds to supplement the athletic fund in terms of things that our athletic teams have long needed, new uniforms, equipment, and stuff like that. And so perhaps when this renewal of the emergency levy is over, perhaps that fund would be able to take those expenses on then, as opposed to having to supplement that from emergency levy fund. That's my hope. So that was the kind of the request I put in, is that if this is as successful as we've seen it be from other places, then that we could use those funds there, and then that would free up that emergency levy fund for other needs that we will have at the time that renewal comes up. Because, you know, as has been our plans in the past, we kind of target those funds. So to try to think strategically about how we use these additional funds that we'll get in to then free up other funds in our budget, knowing the situations that we are facing with our finances. So
Yeah, I think it could be a really good moneymaker. It could be really lucrative for us. And I have one more thing before I conclude
ask a
here. We have
question?
three people in the, oh yeah,
I have a
sure.
question, when I got on their website, just to kind of dig around and see,
Score Vision?
Score Vision.
Okay.
And they had a program for paying for it, like through, and they would manage the donations. So I know we've talked about that, but you think that us managing our own monies for ads and things like that would be a better option for us.
I think, I mean, we did have some conversation with the sales, I forget her name, the woman. They do that because understanding that districts can't always afford to do it, so they want to help themselves, right, by helping us get money. My guess, I don't recall, we didn't get into like, are we paying back a portion or anything like that. We're gonna give it a shot right now and putting together, we've already started like a plan for that. So I'm gonna see how that goes first, and then I can ask KJ to follow up with them just to get some more detail. But I remember us briefly talking about it, but we didn't go in depth with the woman, yeah.
And I know that usually, Akron just recently had a whole conversation about this, and there's a policy piece of how you have to sell advertisements as well too, because you want to have policy that obviously there's certain things that you would not want advertised as a school district. So that's something that we will have to look. And I know Akron just went through this, so they're a district we probably pull a policy from, because you want to have a clear policy that certain like drugs and alcohol, vape shops, things like that, we don't want advertising, and we want to have a policy that says that, so when they come to us in a free market economy, we could say, well, our policy says unfortunately you can't advertise in our school district. So
Yep, that's a good point. Very good. Thank you. Anything else before I continue? All right. Lastly, I'd like to introduce three folks that we have here this evening for your consideration. The first is Mr. John Clegg, and Mr. Clegg will be serving as our new Tier 2 ISGI, replacing the retired Leanne Benner. He comes to us with several years of experience in both the Garfield Heights City School District as a social studies teacher, as well as Nordonia City Schools. Mr. Clegg comes to us with a BA from Ohio University, where he majored in integrated social studies. He is currently attending Indiana Wesleyan University, studying special education. All right, and anticipates adding an additional license to his credentials as an intervention specialist this December. Mr. Clegg is a longtime resident of Silver Lake and is very excited to be joining his hometown school district. Mrs. White is also a Silver Lake resident. So that's Mr. Clegg. Now, next we have Shelby Friedel. After an extensive process, we are excited to welcome Ms. Friedel as our new school counselor at Bullock Middle School. Again, providing all that you vote yes. Ms. Friedel has spent the past couple of years at the Albert Einstein Academy as their K through 12 school counselor. This experience of serving a wide range of students at all age levels will provide her with the tools needed to support our various learners at the middle level. Mrs. Friedel earned her BA in psychology from Thiel University and her master's in education in school counseling from Kent State University. And lastly, we have Teresa Rosa Swain. Miss Rosa Swain comes to us with a Bachelor's of Arts in Art Education from the University of Akron and a Master's of Arts in Art Education from Boston University. With close to a decade of experience as an art teacher in the Ravenna School District, we are thrilled that she is joining our Black Tiger family as our next Preston and Silver Lake Elementary art teacher. Her enthusiasm for her field is infectious, and our students are sure to benefit from this passion. Thank you. So after the vote, if all goes well, we can have them come up to the microphone. Otherwise, you don't have to come up to the microphone. Just stay or slide right out if you want. Thank you.
Any further questions or comments from the board on anything in the consent agenda? No? Okay. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Ms. Coco?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're excited to welcome you all to the Black Tiger community. Thank you for bringing all of your skills here. I think from what all we heard, you will be a benefit to our students. So, thank you.
Thank you. So, and just one little remark now that it's official, this really is a great place to be. You can see we have such a wonderful board, and hopefully you've had a similar experience meeting some of my colleagues here, and we're just happy to have all of you and to see what you can do, and look forward to essentially we have middle school counselor, right? Middle school, yeah. Yeah, that's a fun age. Oh, well, you get you get bonus points, for that. But we're happy to have all of you. So actually, if you want to come up first, and just if you want to say a few words, Shelby, thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, again, I'm Shelby Friedel. I'm the middle school counselor. I'm really excited to be part of this community. Going to Kent, I've worked actually in this community as well at Metropolis when I was in grad school. So I know the community, but I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited to get to know all of you and the students as well. So thank you.
Thank you. We're familiar with Metropolis because during the art walk every year, they do the fundraiser, and they invited us to be celebrity, very loosely, scoopers. So
What were the quotation marks for? Celebrity.
Mr. Harris and I were celebrity scoopers after Dr. Selicow, and we out-scooped her this year.
Got a little competitive.
And she's a little resentful about
We
it
won't go
still.
into all the reasoning. Leslie came at my slot. Thank you, Miss Leslie. I'm just going to keep reminding you.
So we love Metropolis. Brent's a great supporter of our district.
He's been awesome to work for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, Margaret was a huge mentor too when I was doing my practicum. So
Oh yeah.
I love that family.
Great people. Great people.
It was, my daughter worked at Metropolis, it's one of her
Oh,
first
did
jobs
she?
too, yes.
Maybe I
So,
never.
yes. Her name was Andy. But, yeah. So,
Thank you. And John?
Okay, so I just want to start off by saying thank you all for giving me this opportunity. As was mentioned, this is special to me because I was born and raised in Cuyahoga Falls. I've lived here my entire life. My mom and her 5 siblings all graduated from here, and so this may seem like it's just another employee, but I've always wanted to teach in the district that I live in and grew up in, so it's actually a dream come true for me, so thank you guys.
You all chose to sit so far away, now we have this long, lots can happen, but you can trip on a chair, see if you would have sat in the front, Teresa.
We just hired them, don't injure them.
Yeah, right, I mean, I'm looking out for their safety, it's like my convocation, you all try to sit in the back and I make you move forward.
Yeah.
I'm just going to reiterate pretty much what everyone else has said. Thank you. I'm super excited. I am probably the most excited about the opportunity to teach the broad age range again. Rihanna switched from a 1 through 5 building to a 3-4 building, and so while I love my 3rd and 4th graders, I also love and miss teaching all the way from one to the other. So I'm super excited to be here. I'm excited to work with Tammy and Chris as well, and so thank you.
You didn't show her our classroom. So she got
I
here.
was thinking the same thing, now that you're official, now we can talk about your classroom.
show her classroom
Lake.
at Silver Lake
Right.
in the basement.
Yes.
It's great. It's her classroom.
You can make it beautiful.
It's a lot of potential.
It does, yeah, it has a lot of potential.
Could be decorated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a nice hum. There's always that hum down
We're
there.
scaring you. Good thing you're only there part of the time.
She's hired now. You're
Back out.
Yeah. No one tell them they can do if they want.
I already told them that, yeah.
Oh yeah. You can leave if you want. You don't have
Yeah.
to stay for the rest of it. We will not
But
be
you're welcome
offended.
to stay.
You're welcome to stay, but we won't be offended. It really doesn't
we won't.
matter. Item G's, your comments, Dr. Salata.
Yeah, just obviously it's the summer, so we're sporadic in attendance and just trying to take some time off. I'll be off next week, a few days. We have, I did visit summer school, so I was able to see that, and then the poor children had to endure that those hot temperatures and our staff last week. So I checked in every day, and Principal Brown said everybody was okay, and so that was good. We also need to, and this is really for Mr. Gomez and Mr. Harris, we have agenda review next week on July 5th, and I just didn't know, it'll be virtual, so I plan to be there. Many of my folks probably will not be, but I don't know if that still works for all of you, or for the both of you.
I can do it.
So it'd be noon on July 5th,
It's in my schedule, so yeah.
so we're okay?
Yep.
I'll be there.
Alright, so we'll keep it as is. Okay, that was for Mr. Jones.
Perfect.
Alright, and congratulations to our new 3 additions. You're really coming in at an exciting time. We're in the process of building a 6 through 12 campus, which is gonna be absolutely gorgeous. Our elementaries are getting air conditioning slowly but surely, so that's also a big deal. Looking forward to that as well, but just the amount of things that we've been doing and just really making some great progress here, and looking forward to joining that, and I'll see you in your classrooms. Don't get nervous, it's okay, but I will visit you in your classrooms, see how you're doing. And anything we can do to ever help or assist, please feel free to tap into any one of our members of our team. And that's it, thank you.
Do we want to discuss?
Oh, the date, you do, I did write a note for that, yes, the date, there it is, date for the tour. Not tour, but, I know, thank you. Hey, I got so many different papers here, I don't know what's going on. Yes, so we just wanted to shore up that date, for, not the tipping off, or, is that what it is?
Topping off.
Topping.
Topping.
Tipping, or if you stand on the edge, you might be tipping off the top of the
The
building.
topping off ceremony. It seemed as if we were coalescing around July 19th, because it was that week. I think we hadn't heard from Mr. Harris.
Yeah, probably. Sorry about that.
Okay, so.
And then we just, we need a time, and that was it. And I think Mrs. White, you said after.
The 19th?
Do they get to come?
It sounds like,
Yeah,
I don't know who all gets to come.
we're just really primarily concerned.
I know,
about
but do they
but,
get to
yeah.
come too?
They said
They said small group.
core team and
Yeah.
board is usually
Okay.
who.
Who's on the core team? I don't go to those meetings, I don't know.
Just them and me and Dr. Zelico
I was like, I don't go to those meetings, I really don't know. who's-
For my team, it's, Joe and Ryan. I mean, certainly, we can talk about it, but honestly, we're concerned about.
I know,
all-
but I just wanna make sure,
Yeah.
so if we pick a date, then just to make sure people are.
July 19th.
And then we had a,
Time.
I think the time window was like 11 to 2:30, cause you said
That works best for.
from 11, and then they said
Has
it
to be
can't
done by
start
2:30,
after.
correct?
Yeah.
It has to start by 2:30, so if we give them that window and then tell them
Okay.
July 19th from 11 to 2:30 is the window, and then tell them to go from
Okay.
there. Does that work?
Yeah.
I think
Ms.
Ms.
Stewart's
Stewart's
handling
writing it
that.
down.
Yep.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
I'll write it down.
confirm what time works best for you on the 19th?
11 to 2:30, and so if there's like a
So-
specific time in that window that they want to pick, but that's like kind of the window.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
fine.
Yeah,
Do
that's
we
good. How
know
long do you think it'll show up,
roughly-
it'll take to get that?
She didn't
I don't
answer
think-
that.
she didn't answer
Not
it.
long.
I think it's a very brief
Mhm.
ceremony, and, somebody from, Hammond's comms team will be, no, excuse me, well, I think both of them, TDA and Hammond will be there with video
Oh, okay.
in addition to myself to
Okay.
commemorate the
Okay.
occasions.
Well, because the steel workers only work till 3,
Yeah.
so if they can start at 2:30, it can't take that long.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
So we should bring our hard hats. for
It'll
this.
look
I'll
good
keep
for
mine
the
in car.
picture.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
You never know when you'll need
You
it.
say look good for the picture or wear hard hats, which is.
Yeah.
Probably need to have vests and glasses too.
Oh,
We'll have to get you vests and glasses too.
Oh no,
since-
they don't make us. Lucas doesn't make us wear the mask.
I have glasses.
well,
We
if they're
just go
actually
after
working,
hours.
we
I
may
don't
need to
know.
wear
We'll
the
see.
glasses.
We'll just wear our glasses.
He said if we have regular glasses,
regular
it's fine.
glasses.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't. I just have readers.
just wear those.
Just wear those. I'll hold
Don't
your
I-
hand.
Well,
They always have spares on hand.
I'm sure.
They
Just
have
bring
them.
your
I'm
reader.
sure we
Bring
have
the
some,
readers that go with
because,
your
you know, my
outfit that
husband
name
had
is
to-
white. I know that's how you plan them. We all know that's how you plan them, so just plan
yes.
them.
I love that about you.
Thank you.
Now I'm officially
It's
done.
kinda
Thank you.
crazy.
Okay, so we're good on that, and then
Oh,
we'll
wait.
hear back from them. Okay, sounds good.
Where is it?
Got that. Okay.
Oh, wrong one.
Item
Wait a
eight.
minute, I'm coming.
Item H is board business.
know,
The
I know,
first,
yellow.
number 1 is a resolution to renew an existing tax
Yes.
levy. It's recommended the Board of Education approves the resolution pursuant to section 5705.194 through 5705.197 of the Ohio Revised Code, submitting to the electors of the Cuyahoga Falls City School District the question of the renewal of an existing tax levy to be placed on the ballot during the November 5th, 2024 election.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
This is the second and final resolution. It's necessary, and then I'll take everything to the Board of Elections to submit it to them. Plenty of time to get it on. The deadline is sometime early August, so I'll probably go next Monday, and, give it to them, with everything, once we have it, so.
Please call the roll.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Ms. Coco?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
So our next step for this, with the guidance from the auditor, is that we have to develop a statement of facts and then adopt it as a Board of Education. And then as a Board of Education, that is what we are supposed to stick to when we discuss the levy, is the statement of facts. So I would like to ask, obviously we need our treasurer, our superintendent, and then I would like to help develop that, and then if I could ask Ms. Coco to help work on that. We then have to vote as a board to adopt the statement of facts. So,
Yeah.
you can't have 3 board members, so if the
No,
4 of us
that's
could work towards that, I feel like it's pretty, Ms. Stoikoi pretty much knows what it'll be. We probably have one meeting, hammer it out, bring something to the board, either in July or August. Is that everyone amenable to that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Number 2 is a resolution authorizing the superintendent and the director of operations to sign change orders for the HVAC project at Lincoln and Richardson Elementary Schools. It's recommended the Board of Education approves the resolution authorizing the superintendent and the director of operations to sign change orders for the HVAC project at Lincoln and Richardson Elementary Schools.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
This is just, it probably should have been in the original contract, so it's similar, like, you guys signed this for the OFCC project. There wasn't language in, the contract we signed, for the project at these 2 buildings. And we've had a couple of change orders that they're minimal, but, that they've asked for, so this gives, the authority to, us to sign those up to a 10% threshold. And then we will use that language, going forward and embed that kind of in our contracts like this, from the beginning. That way, we're not like scrambling to do it. It would have significantly held up the project if we had to come to the board each time they had something and they would have to wait and do it. It would not have been done in time for school, so that's the reasoning for it. And we'll just be embedding it in those major contracts in the future.
And it only approves it up to the 10%
Yes.
cap, which was in the contract. So
Yes.
it's not changing the amount of funds, it's just making sure. But it's actually, so in the language of the resolution, what the lawyer wrote, he says it's actually you.
Treasurer
Yeah.
designate, I was just looking
Okay.
at that, yeah.
But you can designate the superintendent director of
Yeah.
operations, I
Yeah.
suppose, so,
Yeah.
which is probably your intent,
Yeah.
but, okay, I just want to clarify that. But it's not changing any amounts of money. That would still have to come to us. Any other questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Ms. Coco?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Thank you. Number 3 is a memorandum of understanding with Cuyahoga Falls Education Association. It's recommended the Board of Education approves the memorandum of understanding between the Cuyahoga Falls Education Association and the Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? This is just so that students that wish to continue to take French here to complete French as we are phasing it out will be able to with that part-time teacher. Okay. Please call the roll.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Ms. Coco?
Aye.
Thank you. Number 4, lease agreement with Falls Village Realty 1 Limited. It's recommended that the Board of Education approves the lease agreement between Falls Village Realty 1 Limited and the Cuyahoga Falls City School District.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
I have some prepared remarks if you
Oh.
would like me to share anything.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead.
I didn't want to, should I present first and if anyone has questions? Okay, all right, thank you. So as you know, we've been working on this, stems back probably from the beginning of the calendar year. I saw that I gave a presentation on March 6th, to the board, regarding our, we've been doing a little bit of an analysis of our buildings and our future and what that could look like, relative to the fact that we're having a new 612 campus and what that means for central office and relocation. And so for the purpose of the public and those listening at home, I wanted to give a little justification of the recommendation. So first, to just consider the lease, what you are considering the lease. I'll give you, I know you all have copies of the lease, but allow me to just give you some of the highlights. So the Talmadge property, it's 405 Talmadge Road. We've visited, as I appreciate the board having the opportunity to go there and do your due diligence and really scrutinizing this lease, as you should, and I do appreciate you giving me the work to answer your questions and concerns. We've spent a lot of time on this and really trying to make the best recommendation for the district, and in doing so, the lease is for the location of our central office. It is approximately a little over 13,000 square feet. The cost would be $13,707 a month. And that would be, the terms of it would be for 7 years with the option to renew for 3 and then 3 again with increases built in, 2% each year for the first 7 and then 2.5 should we need those next 3 years, and then 3% beyond that if we go anywhere between years 11, 12, 13. It is $12 a square foot, which includes water, gas, electric, all the cleaning services, all the maintenance and repair, snow removal, landscaping, and leaves us with just the payment for phone and internet, which we would want to do anyway just for security purposes and our current system to keep that running efficiently. The company has agreed to put in enhanced security to meet our needs, fresh paints, clean and replace all the carpeting, removed unwanted cabinetry. They filled, sealed, and painted the parking lot. They will provide signage, key cards for entry, and that's not everything, but that is a good portion of the work that they have actually already done, and that again was on them to the risk to doing that, provided it passes. And then just talking a little bit about why not Roberts, just to recap that, because in some folks in our community may be asking why are we not choosing to use Roberts as our central office. And so we had an architect look at what we need based on our capacity, our current staffing at central office, and her recommendation came out to approximately needing about 11,500 square feet. So we are right in that ballpark. Roberts is 75,000 square feet, and to run that building, it is actually going to be less expensive for us to lease than what it would cost us to keep Roberts, based on utilities alone and then staffing. So when we looked at maintenance, you have to look at inside and outside, right? So we have staff that are they're cleaners, custodians, that do the groundskeeping, and our utilities alone are well over 121,000 approximately a year just in utilities. So that is not counting on the fact that it's an old building and something, our HVAC, we know we have had things break, our boilers, our roof, our windows, doors are all in need of repair. If we were to renovate that building, it could be a bare minimum of $1 million, anywhere to $7 million is what the architect has said. Now granted, I know that we have not invested that money in the building for our students, so why should we have to do that for central office? Could be a question, right? But had we had this building open, I would hope that we would have, if this building had a future for another decade, we probably would be investing more money into this building. But the fact is, it's not. So you always are balancing band-aiding, putting a band-aid on things versus, kind of letting them go and trying, or putting the money in. So those are some of the reasons that we believe that this is a better option. So the question then becomes, why now and why not wait? So I had the realtor that we're working with, Marissa, run a historical report, and what she found is that in the last, actually she just left it open-ended, but let's call it the last 25 years, there were 2 properties in Cuyahoga Falls that became available that may have suited our needs, only based on square footage. That doesn't, I didn't even look at what the footprint was or anything like that, and that was in the year 2019 and then 2005. So we know that we don't know that a building as perfect as it is, because there's not, it is literally, as you all walked it, it's pretty perfect. It's lined with offices, everything that we need. We don't know that would ever come available again. So that's one really big reason. And then the amount of work, that we have that lies ahead for our team. And again, it may sound a little selfish, but in reality, if we want our 6 through 12 move to be seamless and to be done in the right manner, which all of you know that I expect that to happen, we have got to invest our time in that. And it just affords us the opportunity to get in a year early, to get us settled, so we're not moving in the midst of trying to plan an even far greater move for our staff and students. And so in addition to just our day-to-day work, we are going to be doing strategic planning. We're going to be looking at preschool programs, studying our enrollment in facilities, and then planning for this move, looking at the sales of buildings that we have, the extent of amount of work that needs to be done to prepare for this. We've already had conversations. We met this morning. As I've told you, we've committed our Wednesday mornings to talking about getting things rolling, and there are so many pieces and parts that I don't know that people realize the magnitude of work that we have to put in. So we know as a team we would appreciate that opportunity to be able to be settled ourselves in order to carry through the work rather than everybody trying to move at one time. So with that said, I know this is a big decision. I appreciate the magnitude of what I'm asking you to consider, but I do believe in the long run that this is in the best interest of our district, moving forward. So with that, I'll entertain any questions, and thank you for the time to explain that to the folks at home.
When we discussed the letter of, is it letter of interest?
Letter of intent.
Letter of intent. I know it's an I. Letter of intent. The one thing that we did agree on as a board was the importance of knowing that if we make this decision, that it's also deciding that when we make the move to the 612 building, that Roberts will then be vacated, and that we all agreed that we need to have a plan for that building. So what is our plan for that building?
My recommendation, and in working with the architects, would be to look at, to sell that property. We've ruled out the possibility of it being a future site. The reason I would recommend the board to hold on to this property would be for a future site. And as we learned, it's 7.5 acres. Their recommendation is to have, a minimum of 10 acres. Now, could a building fit there? It could. It will be extremely tight. You will not have the green space you would want for children. We know it's on a dead-end street, and that traffic flow would not be the best for that site. That would be the only purpose I would see for us holding on to that. I think we could make some revenue in selling the building. We had the appraisal done, and so that would be my recommendation. That's certainly the board's decision.
And then the question about the bridge, did we get further answers on that?
I tried, I talked to a couple different people. One person has never called me back. I talked to the mayors. Did I talk to them? I'm going back a little bit, sorry. Did I speak to someone from the city? The answer was really, I feel like it's in so many different, I'm told it's the city, then I'm told it's the states. So I talked to Marissa, our realtor, about it. She felt, in her own opinion, it would be desirable for a developer to have that bridge. Now, we know that the folks across the bridge might have a different opinion, so I don't really have a good answer. I did attempt to make some calls, talk to a few people, but I feel that based on what I do know is that the future of the bridge will be there. I don't think they're gonna consider closing that on the little bit of conversations that I've had.
Because it does land. I mean, I went and, before I get into my thoughts on the whole thing, I went and drove around this Talmadge Avenue property.
Mm-hmm.
I went and drove around the Roberts property, and then I drove to the end of the bridge just to get all perspective on all this.
Mm-hmm.
It drops in, and I've gone to it before, but I took a picture.
Mm-hmm.
It drops into a dead-end street in the village,
Mm-hmm.
in a neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, these people are right to be concerned, and they're right to be concerned about the future of the Roberts property as well, because it's a very quiet neighborhood in the village that it drops into. So, if we're saying with this decision, because we kind of tied the two together, if we're just saying with this decision that then it would be the intent to sell that to probably some sort of developer, because that's who's interested
most likely.
in the property. We understand that. I mean, I understand that as well. That has a major impact on those people as well. So I'm concerned about that piece. Like, as I've said to you, like, we all know, and I'll get into my concerns about the lease. We all know I have those concerns. But I also have these other concerns about other pieces separate and apart from my concerns about that. So, like, I'm concerned about our impact on that, and, like, a commitment that I feel that we would have to engage those people via, like, their village officials about the impact that would have on them. So if we're saying our intent for Roberts is to sell that property, because we made a commitment when we got to this point to vote on this, that we would have some sort of sense of what we're gonna do with Roberts. So is that our intent? I'm okay if that's our intent, but then we have to kind of say, we're gonna go down the line also with what else this decision is gonna do, and then we're gonna have to have other uncomfortable conversations with the other parts that this decision is impacting.
I mean, I think I agree with that. If we're doing the lease, the intent is to sell
Yeah.
Roberts. I don't think that it is a feasible spot for, a potential spot for building in the future. And the consensus has been with the board all along that we are adamant about not leaving buildings empty.
Yeah.
So that really is the option that we would have, and what we would be saying with signing this lease is that we are going to sell Roberts. And I think that in that sale, when that time comes, between now and then, there needs to be discussions of how that will impact with the bridge and Silver Lake, and make that commitment that it's something that we will be considering when it comes time to sell that building. And get as much information as we can, to make that decision when it comes time to sell it.
Well, I think.
And who would be developing and what would be happening there on that side.
Yeah, and again, like, I think it gives us the opportunity to then be proactive with the village and the residents that live there. We represent them, but in a different way, like residents of the village in that neighborhood, because it's not
Right.
directly, school people there. So it's not rumors and resentment, like they might not be happy with the decision, but it gives us a chance to be proactive and say, this is the decision that's coming. We're not saying we're gonna let you pick who we sell this property to, but we just want to be honest about the situation, be proactive with you. If your desire is to petition ODOT to close the bridge, or maybe that's something we work with you on, just so that it comes from us, because I think that's important too.
And we do, it's good that we have time to do that, and we know those things do take time. We've got a year and a half that we're still going to be occupying that building before anything were to happen with that property, minimum, so.
And it is mostly the kids from Silver Lake that use the bridge. I mean, I picked up my grandchildren all the time over there. But you're right, the one street does dead end. Now, there are streets,
Yeah.
but it's very quiet, and so I think that's a good idea. But I'd be curious of who actually uses the bridge besides the students.
Yeah.
I just would like, kind of to know, because if you don't have a school, then who would use it? Who would even know? I don't know if anybody much knows that it's
Yeah.
there,
I mean, it
really.
would probably just be maybe the residents of the homes that they're gonna build there, that if,
Yeah, maybe.
cause I don't know,
But
again,
why would
that's what I
they
would-
even?
What would they be coming
So
across
what would
for,
they be? Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So I'm not, but it would be interesting to see, who does use it, or,
I'll keep digging, I mean, it's
because
hard.
mostly when I'm there, of course, I'm picking up kids,
Yeah.
so I mean, that's all I
Yeah.
see, but, so. And now I'm not there anymore, so. But I think that's good, Mr. Gomez.
Yeah, I think that's an important piece of this, because we said we would make that, and that's fine. And I feel better knowing that piece is
Yeah.
there.
Can I just say one other? I'm just a little worried about the ADA access to the building. I think it's not too bad, but I mean, it wasn't real.
So we did talk extensively about that.
Okay.
The ramp itself was approved, it made, now whether or not we agree about the slope, it did pass the test.
Okay.
It was approved. However, there is a plan B that the, folks can park in the back
Okay.
and then come in that entrance, and then it's a flat, it's basically, because it was a hospital, it's like an emergency, how the
Okay.
doors slide open and there you are, like an emergency room. They can come in, a person could come in there
And take
and take the elevator.
Okay.
So there is a plan B.
Okay.
Do they buzz in then?
Yeah, they'd have to buzz. I mean, that is, well, no, let me correct that. The challenge I see in that is that we would just have to know in advance. And I will tell you, in my time that I've only been here 2 years, but I don't know that we've had anybody have to come in a wheelchair. Now, what I do know in other experiences, people generally call ahead and have said, do you have access? Not that it's onus should not be on them, it should be on us, but I just know in
Okay.
past experiences, people will call and we would be able to direct them. But again, the slope, and I'm more than willing to test it out. We could bring a wheelchair there and see how it is. But there is already a ramp there.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna go flying down that.
Yeah.
pretty-
Then I'll get hurt again,
it's
I'll have
a-
another injury to add to
It's
my
a,
list.
it is pretty steep,
Can't have,
but
no, it is a little steep. Now, it passed,
It
but
is.
again, I don't know what that all means, but.
I will say one of the improvements that we did invest in at Roberts, since you opened the door for me, was ADA
Yeah.
accessibility.
Yes.
So thank you for just giving me that, Ms. White, because we did improve our ADA accessibility at Roberts and some ADA parking, and we made it easier for people to get into that first floor and then the elevator as well. So that was on my list of things to bring up. So
That
she
was
just
the one thing that was kinda.
Check. Okay, next.
I could cross that off my list because
Yeah.
as we
Oh, my.
as we talk about our commitment to inclusion.
No, I absolutely agree, and the onus is on us to make sure people are cared for.
I do have, I'm gonna vote against this because I don't agree with it. I disagree with the cost comparisons. I think comparing the utility cost to the cost of the, lease amount is inaccurate because we're using a utility cost for operating an entire school. And that's not gonna be the utility cost of operating a central office. Perhaps we could have pulled the utility costs for our central office currently and used that as a comparison. I believe that, as I've stated before, that the cost comparisons we were presented on March 6th were not fully accurate. I think they were slanted to push us to show that the lease option would be the better option price-wise. We've made several of the things we should have done at Roberts have not been done. There's really, in my opinion, no excuse for why the doors at Roberts have not been replaced. They are a safety issue. So the fact that we even have to consider that, I think, is shameful. The windows, we addressed that on March 6th. The windows don't need replaced. Those were included in that thing. So there's a lot of things in that cost analysis that, again, is not accurate. We discussed that you don't need to take the lockers out. That was an excessive expense. You don't have to paint the walls. Again, we didn't paint walls for students. Why can't we do that? So I don't think the cost comparisons are accurate at all. So I don't think that is a convincing. I also want to point out that the cost of this lease is not in our 5-year forecast. Know that our 5-year forecast is extremely close to being on that tipping point. We are adding additional money and costs into that 5-year forecast, and it's going to lead us to needing to have even deeper cuts when we have that August work session about what are the things that we need to make cuts on, because this is not part of that original amount. So this is going to reset the amount of money that we need to cut from, and that's something we need to be aware of. And where are those cuts going to have to come from? They're going to have to cuts come from the classroom at the end of the day. They're going to come from things that impact our students more, to give our administration a nicer central office, or we could choose to settle for Roberts. So, in my opinion, this is an opportunity to show, to put our students first and to not have to cut quite as much from them. So I'm going to vote against it. I think that we can make do with Roberts. I also want to end with this. The person we're leasing from has already reneged on some of the commitments he made in the letter of intent by adding in those increases. So I'm not sure that we will have the best next 7 years with him as our landlord. And so I'll be voting no. But if it passes, I'll sign it because I'm the board president. That's my job, and I'll move on. But as a board, this is what you do. This is a time to express your thoughts. If it passes, it's my obligation as a board member to support the will of the board and move on. And that's what I'll do.
Ms. Stokely, in the 5-year forecast, is there any forecast for any kind of upkeep or anything that would have to be done at Roberts after the students move out?
No. No, not currently.
So there's going to be an expense that is incurred.
Yes, yeah. If it were to be utilized, there would be expenses that would be added. Yeah.
So
Nothing that has, since there's no decision such as what we do with this building, what we do with Roberts, whether we go into a lease or not, because none of it has been officially approved. I mean, you could talk about the Sill property, the Schnape, all of those things. Because nothing has been officially approved, I have not put anything of that nature into the forecast. Now, we could do that internally to see, I could, totally do that. But for the official one that gets approved, I have not, because we haven't made those decisions yet. And so there's potential on both the revenue and the expense side for all of those things, depending on which direction you go.
I understand, to Mr. Gomez's point of the presentation of all the things that would have to be done at Robert, or what has to be done versus what could be done at Roberts to make it work as an office, are maybe two different numbers. I don't necessarily agree that nothing would have to be done. I do think that there are large expenses that would have to be done in order to make that a place that could be utilized as the board offices. Maybe not $7 million worth. It would probably be, even if we had to do $1 million worth, even if we're looking at $1 million. Remind me again the exact cost of this lease per year. I don't have it right in front of me.
This is the base, yeah, 164.
I'm sorry.
She's at
Oh,
164.
sorry. I'm sitting there. So even if we had to put in $1 million into, let's say we're on the low end and it's $1 million at Roberts, that's 5 years of a lease plus, more like 6 right there, just to get in the doors at Roberts. And that's not including any of the utilities, even if they're cheaper than the 101,000 utility, even if we're not estimating those correctly, even if it's half of that. Let's say it's $50,000 for upkeep and utilities at Roberts. That's not even including that piece in there. So I think from a financial sense, we're not, if we're basing this on financial responsibility and fiscal responsibility, I don't feel that it's any more fiscally responsible to use Roberts versus a board office. In fact, I think that it probably leans the other direction, that it's more fiscally responsible to sell Roberts and to have these lease offices. Okay.
You know, and I'm confused. I know, I'm a Libra, it's like, oh, I know, it's a hard,
Yeah, you both make really good points. I mean,
yeah, you do.
yeah.
And I do want to say too, when we're looking at, yes, we can move into Roberts and not do anything and have that. And if the fiscal side of it is, let's just take that piece out. If we're looking at our new families and our new people coming into this district and who are like elementary and they've never set foot in our schools. They've never been anywhere. We know what the inside of Roberts looks like. We toured that building. We know without doing anything in that building. We know I know if I had never been in this district and I didn't know all the wonderful teachers and staff that we have and everything going on in our schools, if that's what I was walking into to register my student for the first time in our district, it would not give me the warm and fuzzies at all. And our current board office doesn't give any of us the warm and fuzzies either, to be honest. There's wonderful people there. There's wonderful things going on. So I think there's something to be said with we're trying to move forward with the, perception is reality for people. And we're trying to, the city is booming. People are moving in. People want to be here. We have this new 6 through 12 campus. We hope down the line we have new 6 through 12 schools as well. Why do we want that to be the first impression that our families get when they're coming to this district and walking in the doors? That's another perspective that I have.
How long is the lease actually for? 3 years?
Oh, I'm sorry, did I mention
7
that?
years.
7 years.
Yes.
So we have to lease it for 7? We can't
Yeah,
back
so
out?
the reason for 7, so we went back and forth, we
Okay.
started at 5. If
Okay.
we like project outward, we don't wanna keep moving, right? I mean, we
Okay,
want people to be
alright.
established, parents and families to know where we're at. But the second piece, which I didn't mention tonight, I've mentioned before, but it's that, in the second phase for our bond issue, we would build in a plan to then address central office, would be my recommendation. That whether that be, we wouldn't build new, but I would imagine we would renovate, let's say, like DeWitt or Price or, one of the elementaries, that we would build in LFIs to be able to do that, and then we come back in district. But we know that that's gonna be a minimum of 7 years out, which is why we landed on 7. And it
Okay,
kept our rate
alright.
lower for longer. That's that's probably a really realistic projection.
I guess the warm and fuzzies thing, this location is next to a dialysis place across the street from a U-Haul storage facility and around the corner from where a man was shot to death by his relative last summer. So I guess the location is like warm and fuzzy. I don't know, it's just, that area doesn't give me warm and fuzzy. Though it is by the Sullivan family house, which does give me the warm and fuzzy.
I do like that.
I do like that house.
I
I'll
do
give you
as well.
that. I'll give you
Right on the corner there, yeah.
the Sullivan house.
But the
gives me the
offices
warm and fuzzy.
themselves, when you
I
walk
know
in
what
there,
you
there
mean,
is
the
a.
inside.
Are we ready to vote? Everybody ready? Okay, call the roll. You ready?
I had to save it, so I'm opening it back up. All right, right? Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye,
Ms. Coco?
reluctant.
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
No. Item 5 is future agenda items. At our July 10th meeting, we have our presentation from Ms. Hausman about the data dashboard. We also have Mr. Ferguson from the ESC coming to talk about the strategic plan process. And then, did we want to have him come with a contract, should we like the presentation, that we could vote on that night as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will we
That would
be
be proactive.
given the contract ahead
In
of time?
advance, yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
okay.
Okay, good.
I was thinking about that today, and I wanted to see if people were comfortable with that.
Yeah,
So we
he and I
have
are
him
talking next week.
reach out about
Okay.
prepping the contract as well. And then we're still working towards that work session date for August. Any other future agenda items I'm missing or need to be added? Okay. Number 6 is committee reports. Construction core team.
Yeah, I couldn't attend because they changed the time without telling me, at least I think they did, I don't know. But they changed it from 1 when I showed up, and I found out it was 2:30, and no one, I think because I don't have a cell phone, so I don't get these, I don't know, but whatever. But Dr. Selico was kind enough to tell me what happened, so a rundown, the exterior, all the concrete foundation has been poured, the retaining walls at the stadium are complete, foundation's complete in the whole building, building 4 slabs still needed, prepping now, masonry's going on, being worked on in the pack. Interior masonry for the gym still being worked on, we're on track to wrap up structural walls by the end of next week, which would have been last week. Steel beams will be going in the gym, and that's how we're having our tipping up. The interior is building 1, the grid's complete, paint is complete, casework just started, and flooring in next couple of months. So they're really going to town in the interior of building 1 with the painting and the drywall, plumbing, and all of that. The road widening is underway, the equipment's here. Next week they'll install the concrete curbs, work on the signals, and apron off Portage Trail. And then during the end of July, the paving, and then it will be complete by August 1st. The stadium, the bleachers have been started and may be done by the fall. The stadium lights will be getting in there soon. Goal is to be done by August 2025. Dominion should be done about the same time this summer, and then we'll need fencing and the small building. The keying, which was a big thing, but that is almost done. And then, the beam signing, we did that, tours of the 612 staff, be more tours, forthcoming, and we'll talk about that in the fall, I think. And then topping off ceremony and designing concession stands, so on, those things, so, yeah, and the scoreboard, which we voted on tonight, so that's pretty much, and thank you, Dr. Selico, for taking notes for me. I had plans with my husband and couldn't come back, so.
I purposely typed them because you would not be able to read my writing.
You'd be surprised what writing I can read.
Can I ask a question about that then?
Oh,
So
sure.
The stadium, did you say by August 1st of 25?
Stadium, to
So
be
like-
done
Does
by
that mean they're gonna
August
run
2025.
The
Fall
lights will
sports?
be in, yeah, I mean, they're definitely
Oh, that's,
hustling.
I'm sorry, I misheard what she said then.
No, it's stadium to be done by August 2025. The stadium lights getting in
It's
soon.
soon, right, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
so.
Like 1 year from August, so that's, I misheard that.
No, actually, yes, I'm sorry,
No,
you said
that's-
25, I thought you said 24. But
Oh.
yes,
No, no,
the
no.
lights are going in now, but yes,
Yeah,
there
should be.
is a possibility, it will be ready
That we
for the
could
fall,
use
yes.
this
But
one.
again, there's other decisions to be made there. We know that, restrooms would not be available, locker rooms,
Yeah,
that kind of
that's
thing. But the stadium itself, yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. They're moving ahead, they're on schedule plus, I believe, so.
So maybe they
maybe
could
for
practice on them, but we
Right,
probably,
right.
we wouldn't be having games.
But we could have like a band show there.
No, no concessions, no bathrooms.
Oh, it's.
So
yeah.
possibly we could get our students practicing
porta
and getting
potties.
comfortable with the field.
Porta potties, oh boy.
But I don't think OHSA allows you to have athletic events
I
without
see if this is the last
bathroom
band show.
facilities. Right.
Yeah, you'd
I'm
have
sure
to-
there's
I
a,
know.
I'm sure Doug Ute has a rule on that.
Other places I know have, like, had the trailers, you know, or porta potties brought in.
Yeah.
You'd have to rent them, of course, so there's a cost.
Yeah.
But we can,
And we know how our
But that-
construction budget is.
yes, so to be continued,
Yeah.
to be determined later, as we
But
get
those
closer.
could be funded by the scoreboard, Mr. Gomez.
Right.
Yeah, start those games earlier so that you can get more money on those scoreboards,
Right.
make that money.
Hey, naming rights on a porta potty, you can have some money to do that.
Hey, you can name
That's
one
what they're
after
gonna
your
dedicate
ex.
to me when I'm done.
Give you a Valentine's Day fundraiser.
Stop, it's terrible.
Name a porta potty after your ex.
I mean.
But
why not?
also,
It's a good idea.
God. Oh.
That's my.
the stadium, that stadium seats less people though,
Yeah,
so
it does.
it'd probably be more beneficial to do one less band show for the, I mean, I'm not making decisions for the
Yeah.
band organization, but be more beneficial to do one last big one here where they can fit more people and make more money, and then do it there where it's smaller and they can't fit as many people, because they could make more money at this stadium where more people can be seated. So from a financial sense. Athletics, did they have a meeting about?
They have not, I'm gonna reach
Spring
out
sport?
to
Okay, yeah,
KJ
cause usually he
because-
sends out like a
yeah.
spring sports recap.
Right. Yeah, I would like to,
Policy, we're working to set a meeting. I sent Dr. Selico Ms. White's response, so we should have a,
Yeah, I'll check in
Meeting
with
set
Chris to
soon.
see what he's looking
did I have a report on foundation? I think so. Legislative liaison, Mr. Harris?
I had a tiny update, but I left it on my printer at home. I apologize. It's just been very busy in Columbus, I believe, today. They're trying to push through a lot of stuff, so I will have an update at the next meeting for sure. So,
Okay. Take us to comments. Ms. Coco?
yes, I don't have a lot, just congratulations again to our new staff that are joining us. We're excited to have you here in the district. And I have a middle schooler, so my last one. I do get to go to the band concert for the middle school band camp that's been happening the past 2 weeks that Mr. Lang has put on. That will be on Friday at the high school at noon. So I get to go to that. My daughter has thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm glad that 2 hours of her day, Monday through Friday, have been occupied as well. So 2 hours that she hasn't said she's bored, so. And just welcome Mr. Bagatti back. It's good to see you. And I'm wondering if your sign, your nameplate, did you get that done with large letters so I would not forget your name? And I could see it from over there. Okay? Has it always been that big? It has? Huh? Okay.
No, all the other
I
ones
thought
are
that was just
tiny.
for me, but welcome back. We're glad to see you.
I can't read the other one.
No, I can't read the other ones, so. And that's about it. I hope everyone's having a good summer.
I'm up next. I just had one thing. So, we know one of my passions is ways that we can engage our families in terms of understanding what their kids are learning about and learning with in our classrooms. And so I heard a really great idea from another district I shared with some of you, is that at conferences and open houses, this district puts out the instructional materials that their students learn with. So like at a conference in the hallway, the teacher would have on a table the instructional materials they're using at that time. So as they're talking about, say, your kid, we're learning such and such in math, and maybe your kid's doing well, your kid's struggling a little bit, and then after the conference is over, the parents could go look and see that and see, oh, was this the math that I learned? Or just to get that familiarity with what their kid is learning with. Because we know so often anymore, so much is done on the computer, books don't always come home, and so this gives us a way to share those resources with our families. And then also at open house, they would put in the cafeteria on tables, kindergarten, first grade through fifth grade, because that's how our buildings are configured, and then what the resources are that like kindergarten learns with, first grade learns with, as a kind of invitation for families to see what their students are going to learn with that year. I just think that's a really creative and great way to kind of help parents understand what their students will be learning with that year, because that is something that I get asked by parents a lot, is like, what is my kid learning from? Because parents do want to be engaged, and we always struggle with how do we bridge that gap. So I just thought that was a really great idea that I wanted to share out. Mr. Harris?
Yep, just congratulations to our new folks. Welcome to the district. Welcome back, Mr. Bagatti. It's nice to see you over there, back at 100% with us here. At least feel 100%? You're 100%. Good, awesome. And then, yes, just I hope everyone's having a great summer and staying safe and having some fun. So that's it.
Mrs. Schaefer?
I don't have much. I did attend school adjacent. We've had a lot of construction in our neighborhoods by Preston School with the gas lines and everything's been a lot going on. Good Neighbors is doing a community program over in that area with a beautification. Habitat for Humanity. Thank you. Habitat for Humanity is doing a beautification project over there for a couple of the streets. And part of the beautification project is Preston Park. So they're gonna have a community day. I believe it's July 28th. I left my phone in the car, so and the flyer in my car. It's raining. I wasn't gonna go back and get it. And but they're gonna have like put mulch on. They're gonna put paint tiger paws on. I think the parking lot, and then paint some of the benches and do some beautification in the park area.
Can you send us that info? Can you send that info over?
I'll send. Yes, I'll send it. It's in my car.
No, it's all right.
But it was, I'm excited. I love to see the partnering, and the neighborhood kind of voted what they would like to see, and that was one of the things, some beautification of the neighborhood. So
July 19th
July 19th. Thank you.
at 9 a.m. It starts.
Oh, it starts, okay. But
And
we
there's
can,
2 shifts.
we can just
So
kind
on-
of cut, okay.
So Ms.
July
Schaefer
19th.
still send us the
Is that what you
info.
said?
Yeah.
So the day of the topping off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
Friday?
Starts
Yeah.
at 9 a.m.
I'll be at work.
Goes from 9 to noon.
I thought it was a Saturday. It's a Friday?
Yeah, it is.
Get invited, get over there.
Yeah. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. White?
I wanted to welcome you all, part of our Black Tiger family. I, as well as Mr. Gomez, Ms. Schaefer, are all Cuyahoga Falls graduates. Me a long, long time ago, but, you know, my mother graduated from here, my sister and I, my children, and now my grandchildren as well. So welcome and happy to have, of course, anybody. If you move here, that's, I always say, even better because, yeah. But at any rate, we're very lucky. I felt honored to be able to teach in my home district as well. So I think you'll enjoy it, and good luck to all of you. Welcome back, Mr. Bugatti, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Item I is the executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G1 is hereby moved the board adjourns to executive session to consider the employment of a public employee or official.
I'll second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Ms. Coco?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
We're in executive session at 6:50 p.m. We no action after. That was so fast.
Yeah.